words from your book about Islamophobia in Europe. The ascent of right-wing anti-immigration parties in Europe, the misleading and sometimes downright sensationalist reporting against Muslims in the right-wing Western media, France's ban on the burqa, and so on. Nothing's got any better, has it over the last 7 years since you wrote those words?
Peter, look, the problem is, and I blame the Muslim leadership for this too. So first, why did the Muslim leadership allow terrorism and Islam to be connected? What has Islam got to do with terrorism? Just now, this Indian variant of this COVID-19 came across, devastating the world. But the Indians said, look, don't call it Indian variant, call it Delta variant. Well, quite right, because why should sort of any virus be associated with any nation? Similarly, why should terrorism be associated with any religion? No religion would promote terrorism. I mean, so after 9/11, connecting Islam and terrorism, and then saying radical Islam, you know, as if there's some radical Islam which promotes terrorism. There is only one Islam, and that is of our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. In Muslim communities, like every human community, there are moderates, there are radicals, there are liberals. I mean, if I first went to Britain, when I first went there were these guys called skinheads. They would beat up people who was a Paki. They would beat them up. Imagine if I looked upon the British societies through what the skinheads were doing. You can't define a religion or a human community by just concentrating on their extremes. So these people are like, we have our fanatics, like the gunman who walks into a New Zealand walks and shoots down 50 worshippers. So when you say radical Islam, so for the man in the street in the West, how is he going to distinguish between a moderate Muslim or radical Muslim? How does he distinguish? So all Muslims become a target. This is what Islamophobia is. After 9/11, any incident happened, because I would spend more time in Britain because my children were young there, so I would go and see them. And it was like the whole, people would pray when some terrorist attack took place. Immediately the Muslims would pray, I hope it's not a Muslim, because everyone got branded. After 9/11, I never forget, this journalist called me up and he said, aren't you ashamed of being a Muslim? You know, 1.3 billion people responsible for 19 fanatics or terrorists.
I think I'm right in saying that was Martin Bashir who rang you up.
Yes. You know, not the best of the journalists, but he called me up. I was so shocked by it. So this is the problem, what has happened. What is Islamophobia? People do not realize radical Islam, moderate Islam. I mean, in the Western, how does a man in the street? So all Muslims then, and especially anyone who has a sort of symbol of Muslimness, like wearing a head cover or a beard, although by the beards have become quite fashionable now. I hear everyone trendy with a beard now. But so they became targets and they got insulted. I'm not talking about people who got beaten up or, you know, killed. I'm talking about normal people being abused in the streets in the Western countries just because they look Muslim. So I think it was very unfair. We Muslim leaders should have talked about it, de-linked Islam and terrorism. And secondly, there's this other thing which started with Salman Rushdie. People in the West do not treat religion like we do. They cannot understand the love, respect, reverence we have for our Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. You know, people love him more than anything. Respect and love for him is paramount in our religion. I know how, you know, religion is treated in the Western countries. When I went, there was this Monty Python's flying circus about Jesus Christ, Life of Brian, and I was so shocked. I had never seen anything like that.